Welcome to Ira's Everything Bagel, where I talk with intriguing people about everything, their passions, pursuits, and points of view. For many, the American dream may seem fragile, but for immigrant and entrepreneur George E. Danis, it remains as real and attainable as ever. His journey from war-torn childhood to successful businessman is a testament to resilience, ambition, and the power of perseverance. In his new book, Dana shares extraordinary moments from his life, such as the time he was unexpectedly freed from jail by none other than Senator John F. Kennedy. With stories that earned him the prestigious Ellis Island Medal of Honor, Danis takes readers on a ride through the struggles and triumphs that shaped his path. Again, George E. Danis is author of Go Far, Give Back, Live Greek. It's a memoir with lessons about life, business, and leadership. It's available on Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, and all the usual places. And for everything about George, go to georgedanis.com, and you can follow him on Facebook and LinkedIn. And welcome, George.
I thank you very much for the this very rich introduction, and you said everything practically. I don't even have to say anything.
Yeah, one of the things I think that made you successful, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm always wrong, or sometimes wrong, or maybe always right. I don't know. But one of the things that helped with your success, besides what I talked about and I didn't mention, is a sense of humor. Would I be right?
Absolutely, we're meant to be humoring ourselves and each other and others around us, and life is too beautiful to think otherwise. Just focus and never let anybody make your day unhappy.
It's within ourselves, in other words, to really embrace
Correct,
life
correct.
and enjoy it.
We make our own day, our own luck, and we have to really be persistent, be consistent, be good with what you do, whatever you chose you do. Have a quality and please your customers, your audience. Whatever you choose to do is so important.
When
Never give up.
Yeah, never give up. Perseverance. I mentioned that in the opening. Most people, when they get older, they get wiser. I don't, but most people get wiser when they get older. You seem to have this insight that you developed at an early age. Do you remember when you realized that it was up to you to make it or break it?
Probably when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, when my friends, the people that they had money in the down in the town where the village was about 3 kilometers north, they had a scooter or a baseball ball, and I didn't have any, so I was trying to find ways to make up. So one time I destroyed my father's mill. They had a flour mill that he was doing for the neighbors and the village, and I took the ball bearings and a board imitating what I saw from my friends the scooter, and I made my own scooter. And of
Amazing.
course, I destroyed my father's factory. So it was on a Sunday, and I went down to the town with a nice casa that was cement, because all dirt roads those days. So when I returned at the end of the day, tired, I was hauling my scooter and my bag, and my father and mother were waiting for me to see why did I ruin their factory.
Wait a minute. So that's the real reason you left Greece.
Yeah. And so so I learned another time my mother had a loom, that they make cloth those days, and so I had a kite, but I didn't have room to fly it. I took my father's newspapers that he was reading the next day, and I took some bamboo wood, and I made a kite. And so, and then for glue I used flour and dough, and made a dough, and it becomes like a glue. And so, but I didn't have a loom, so I didn't have a string. So I went and I bought my mother's loom, and I did the loom, but I couldn't put it together after that. And she says, where did you find the string? I says, well, you don't want to know.
So the factory and the broom are destroyed, and you immediately then leave for America. There are
Yeah.
no.
They
What
took
brought
me.
you to America? You were obviously you grew up in Greece, but what brought you to America?
Well, interesting. My mother had a brother in Philadelphia, and during the war, he used to send us gifts, a big suitcases with things, including one time he sent us a, a ball, a baseball. I'm sorry, a basketball ball. And so we were so happy. And so I thought America was the place that you can get anything and you can find find things to play and grow and succeed. So I had like a dream after 5, 6, 7 years old. And in fact, I continued to dream that way. And so when I was 12, they didn't have high school in the village. So they took me to Athens, 12 years old, and my mother rented a room 10 by 10 with a very, in fact, if anybody reads the book, it's all explained in detail. And so the next day, after she registered me in a high school, she left to go back to the home to take care of the rest of the family. And I was left alone. And so that was, and then we had brought some food from the house, potatoes, cheese, bread, and things like that. So every week they used to send me with people in Athens. So I used to go and pick it up. And then afterwards, I didn't have enough money, so I tried to find a job, and I found a job as a busboy. The interesting part, I was probably 13 years old. I was tall. Luckily, that I was tall enough, so I was passing for more than 13 years old. So the owner says to me, "These three wait staff would be needing you to pour water and drinks to the customers." So the three of them got me in a corner and say, "Okay, this is our livelihood. Now you mess it up. We make money to support our families with tips. The happier our customers are, the more they're gonna give us, and the more they give us, we'll give you some. So, but don't screw it up, because if you do, we're gonna kill you." So that was.
Oh, all right. Oh, well, I want to jump ahead because there's so much to your life and career, and I don't want to get too narrowed down into
I
incidents.
thank you,
But
thank you.
now you're in America. How did you end up going to America? How did you end up in America? And
Okay,
then,
I went to a merchant marine. I've got a job in merchant marine from Germany to Japan, and from Japan to Oakland, California, and from Oakland, California back to Japan, Vancouver, loaded wheat all the way to Panama to Poland, North Atlantic.
that's quite
And
the
from
trip. But again, how
quite
did you
rich.
get to America though? When you're
50,
now
exactly. 55 days from Poland to Norfolk, Virginia, a jump ship.
okay. All
Yeah, a
right.
jump ship. I a bus to New York, a bus to New York, and I lost the flight, the train to Boston. So I found my way in a central station in New York, slept someplace. I don't even remember where or how. And so the next day I took the train to Boston. My mother had a cousin there. So they picked me up and they found me a job. And a couple of days later, it was November of 1956.
Now, did you speak English at that time, George?
None at all.
So you're able to navigate around the world on a ship and then jump ship and navigate somehow taking
Yeah,
a train or a bus without speaking the language. It's
at
pretty
all,
impressive right
at all.
there.
Yeah, it's a persistency. I have persistency and survival makes you much smarter than you think you are, much capable
Great
than
point.
you are. And so anyway, so they got me a job, and 9 months later, the immigration grabbed me one evening when I went to work, picked me up. I tried to escape. There was no way. The next thing, in jail, Charles Street jail in Boston. Uh, a week later, a week and a half later, a young man came, and I didn't know him. The guard yanked me out yakking whatever he was saying. And so this gentleman stands there, as he was in the waiting room, gets up, and I was impressed and afraid. So he says, he started talking to me in some Greek, ancient Greek philosophy, and about the Greek philosophers and the culture and democracy. And then the next thing he says, are you a communist? I says, no. He says, okay, I'll have my office sponsor you for 45 days, but you have to leave the country. So I says, thank you, I will. And the next thing, the same the same immigration people took me back to the diner that I was working. And I left, went to New York. I got a boat to Lisbon, back to Greece. I worked my way back to Greece. I went to Greece, served in the Greek Navy for 2 years. As soon as I finished, I went to Italy, got a boat from Naples, Italy to Mobile, Alabama. Jump ship again.
You're jumping ship a lot there. It probably keeps you in shape. Now, when you mentioned you were arrested by immigration and the gentleman came to take you out, was that the story of John F. Kennedy?
Correct, correct.
Okay, I want
I
to make
learned.
sure our listeners and viewers
Oh
know
yeah,
that was
yeah,
Senator John F.
absolutely.
Kennedy that got you out of the jail.
Exactly, absolutely. And I came from Mobile, Alabama to Philadelphia. Took me 4 or 5 days. Passed the bus, and then they were watching the television. It's October 26, 1960. My uncle, my mother's brother, and his family was watching the debates and the campaign of the candidates Nixon and Kennedy. And I says to them, I know this guy. He came to the jail. My uncle says, are you okay? Are you serious? I says, yeah, I told him the story. And that's how I discovered that was Kennedy came to jail to bail me out. It was a
Absolutely amazing.
remarkable situation,
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great story. There's so many stories like that in your book. One of the things I could tell from you is that you mentioned earlier perseverance and you just never stop. You keep going. You get resourceful and you keep,
Absolutely, I
right.
am.
And also though, as a result of that, you I think are inherently a capitalist because or an entrepreneur. You know how to make things happen. You develop things. You make a career. You make success, etc.
I've been blessed on that, and I always look at it, both appreciate what we have, both envy and thank the people that they have done it, but always trying to improve things. Continuous improvement is what life should be, And we also need to take care of the people around us. The
So
people
that's
around
why
us.
I would just again because the title of your book is "Go Far, Give Back, and Live Greek." So go far we've covered. Give back is what you're talking about now.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes, and live Greek
It's
because you still have a Greek accent.
and live Greek is not how much olive oil you put on a salad or feta cheese. It is democracy. It is living within the community, making sure that everybody gets educated, gets helped to elevate himself. Don't just give it something. Make sure that they earn something. Make sure that we all work together to earn and make this country and the planet much better than it is. And say that's one of the things I have committed myself in every way, shape, or form. In fact, when I first started, the first business that I started, I had 2, 3 part-time people, and noontime came, and I went out and purchased a bucket of fried Kentucky fried chicken and brought it to eat together. And thereafter, continuously, it is so important. When I start hiring people, there are a lot of Greeks in the area in Brighton, Massachusetts, and I was hiring people. They didn't speak any English, so I sent them to the Berlin School of Languages to learn English. I paid for that
It's pretty
myself.
impressive.
And
Although, if they were Greeks working for you, why did you get them Kentucky Fried Chicken? Why
well,
not some Greek
in
food?
fact, at that time was not. That's where it was. The only thing nearby was Kentucky Fried Chicken,
I
and
got you.
I got a big bucket.
That means a lot too from the people working for you that you did that.
Absolutely. To
Yeah.
this day, on a continuous basis, I do that. In fact, every time I go to one of the factories and things, I bring lunch in, so we all have lunch together. Okay?
And just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, listeners and viewers, George did not send me a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. So.
I'll send you a bottle of olive oil. How's that?
That's even better. I like that. So,
And
did you focus on one thing for your entrepreneurial success, or were there several things? Because
that,
sometimes people spread themselves too thin. What was it in your case?
well, I'm carefully expanding, and I have. As a matter of fact, my first business was metal fabrication, making cabinets and making housing for the electronic industry. Then, because the same customers wanted hardware to put it together, so I started a distribution company, which I still have. And then, because of the metal was moving towards the plastic, because of the complexity and the size of the packaging that needs to be housing the electronic products and boards and things like that, when I went to the plastic, that's why I started plastic injection molding again.
Interesting.
And
So
and then
it was
late,
a sequential approach to manufacturing that you did. It wasn't just a scattergun approach. You did number two because of number one. You did number three because of number two.
thank you, exactly, precisely. Always have to think logistically. You have to think deep, very deep thinking, very critical thinking where we are going tomorrow. It's really so. In fact, whoever reads the book, I have some. The introduction is a letter from me to the reader. And we, the people, we have more power than we think, but we need to vent and to make sure that the elected officials are the people that they care for the country, and if the country does well, the citizen will do well. As a matter of fact, one of the stories that you will find, Senator Ted Kennedy was a good friend throughout the years. I got very involved because, to me, a full citizen has to be very much involved with the system. So I got involved with all kinds of politicians, including Tip O'Neill, Edward Kennedy, Senator Edward Kennedy. And one time, every time he used to come to Boston, he used to call me up and we'll have lunch or dinner. So Colin comes in one day. I was waiting for him and Vicky. He said to me, George, I'm mad at you. I says, why, Senator? He says, because the office told me you have not registered Democrat. I says, no. I says, I'm an American. He said to me, what the F you think I am? I says, you're a senator. You have chosen an ideology, a process that I like some of the things that you do. I want to make sure that he understood some of the things I do. And so I support you. He says, you're right. And that was, yeah.
Did
And
you
that,
go ahead? Sorry. Go ahead, George.
so that's the way I see things. You got to be in the center. If you're an extreme in one or the other, you cannot see the other side. You cannot work with the other side. You cannot be able to solve anything that needs to be solved.
Which sounds exactly where we are today in society. So your words have some wisdom to them. And I want you mentioned Senator Ted Kennedy. Did you ever mention to him about how his brother freed you from
Oh
jail?
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah. And I says to him, I says, that is also an IOU that I owe to the Kennedy family. He says, good.
Of course, he's a
In 19
politician.
in 1980, when he was running for to unseat President Jimmy Carter, I supported and campaign and fundraise for him throughout the Greek community all over the country. So I raised them quite a bit of money.
Did
I
you
wasn't expect I wasn't expecting anything. I was expecting the to take care of my country.
did you ever think of running yourself for office?
Um, I did, but because of my shortness of the English language and things, I was really not comfortable in doing it.
I see. I think the country would, or no matter what you ran for, I think they'd get a kick out of the fact that you came from Greece. You speak relatively good English back then when you could have run, and so they would have respected that. But it was your decision. You felt you couldn't communicate as effectively, I assume.
I did support many, including both sides. Mitt Romney as a governor, Mitt Romney as when he ran for president. I supported Tip O'Neill. I supported some of the Greek governor Dukakis across the country. We raised a lot of money. In fact, the Greek community did raise so much money, and we were able to get Mike Dukakis the nomination for the Democratic Party in 1988.
When you look at your life and your career, is there one or two things that stand out in that you just, these are the two key things that you either accomplished or that you learned something from?
Uh, First, I wrote the book for three reasons. One is to document my journey and the difficulties and what has been I have learned. Second is to thank all the people, all the American people, all the Greek people that they were nice to me and they were helpful to me. And the third is really to tell the audience, to tell whoever reads the book, my experience and what I see that we need to fix. We need to level the playing field. I don't mean giving money to people that they don't have. I mean helping them to start a business. Like the feds and the government is allowing the banks a money to make money with a very short, very minimum interest rate. What is wrong with it doing that for small business, startup business? Why is the government allowing the public traded companies to become monopolies and gobble all the small companies and eliminate the competition? Why are we not servicing our country, national service? Why is the taxation allowed the gifts to it's for people that they have billions of dollars without paying any taxes, doing having a trust and making paying no money. Pay the money and give the gifts. There's nothing wrong with it. A regular a citizen, a low-paid citizen, in order to save something to send his kids to school, he or she has to pay taxes first. What is wrong with the schools receiving the less than what's the total that they're receiving now, and the government gets the money rather than borrowing money continuously and putting the future of our country to death?
You would be a very good advocate for, are you familiar with Junior Achievement? Do you know that organization?
I do have heard. I don't. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's basically for kids to learn about entrepreneurship, and they make a product or a service, create their own business, and it's been around for decades. And you'd be a perfect person to go
thank you.
talk to. They're all over
I,
the country. So
I will look into it. As a matter of fact, I'm researching now to write another book.
already, we're not even done
Yeah.
with this one yet. Wait, we'll come back with the
to
second one
write
too.
to write to write entrepreneurship, um, freedom of business.
Were you always comfortable with handling business? What I mean by that is there are various different business concepts, procedures, terminology, and you come over from Greece, you speak English, but your first language is Greek. Were you able to make that all work for you in terms of dealing with business?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, business. I started an export import business years ago. I purchased a cosmetic skincare products company, and we were doing business all over Europe. And I had a restaurant, ran a restaurant. I have a meat factory in Bedford, Massachusetts, New Bedford, Massachusetts. So my objective, my focus is to set procedures, improve things. Simplicity, time management is the only way. Okay. More people do not produce more or have any more than less people learn, train people. All the companies that I have bought are companies, I've bought 8 companies. the last 10 years, last 15 years. They were all under bankruptcy. I brought them out of bankruptcy, and the same people that work in there are now managing the companies, okay, independently and totally by talking to them, by learning, train them, empower them to do exactly that. I love the challenge, and I never give up on anything that I can handle.
Well, I think too, the fact that you're successful and yet you're not resting on your laurels, which is an American phrase, but you're not static. You're not just sitting there with the status quo. You're continuing, as you mentioned earlier, improving all the time. That's what you do.
Yeah. It is. It's really a fun and appreciation to my country here in the United States, to people that help me, and I always trying to. As a matter of fact, a little story. Through within a year. In when I was in Watertown, Massachusetts, immediately I talked to the people, and I was doing a dinner, Thanksgiving dinner for the senior citizens. And I was in Greece, and because of a hospital there, the doctor told me they didn't have an X-ray machine. 1976, I came back, negotiated with Siemens company, and I went and borrowed $26,000 borrow to buy the X-ray machine to send it to Greece because the village did not have any other choice. Okay.
It's a great story. Before I let you go, we only have about a minute or two left. Tell us about the Ellis Island Medal of Honor.
It was an honor. It was very nice to be there with people much much higher, much prestigious. The mayor of New York, other people, university college presidents. I was ecstatic. I was pleased. I was appreciative, and I still am on things like that. I really feel that the American dream is still here. We need to chase it. We need to work for it. We need to help each other to accomplish it.
Well, why did they give you the award? That's the important thing.
Well, they give the award because of the citizenship, democracy, and a philanthropy.
And you deserved it. So you got it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely. One last quick question, and that is, you have this philosophy of giving back. That's consistent throughout your entire life and career, is it not?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Continuous. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of the details. Some details are in the book, but there are a lot of more that I'm. Yeah, I'm blessed. I feel good. I have 4 daughters. I have 9 grandchildren,
Great.
and the life it couldn't be any better.
Well, that's a great way to leave it. My guest has been George E. Danis. He's author of Go Far, Give Back, Live Greek. It's a memoir with lessons about life, business, and leadership. It's available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and all the usual places. And for everything about George, go to georgedanis.com, georgedanis.com, and follow him on Facebook and LinkedIn. And George, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you very much, Hyla. Great to talk to you. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you to all your listeners.
Thank you. And join us every Thursday for a new schmear on Ira's Everything Bagel.